and welcome to the Storyboard special. I'm Shibani Gharat. Today I am in conversation with Mark Read, Chief Executive Officer, WPP, world's largest agency group and holding company. The last time we spoke, it was around the time when the world got the taste of its first ever lockdown. So much has changed ever since. So here we are, catching up after a gap of 2 years, several lockdowns, many stages of pandemic, and ongoing war, several technological and geopolitical changes later. But there is so much to look forward to as well. The new year and the upcoming FIFA Football World Cup. Welcome to CNBC TV18, Mark. Pleased to have you on the show again.
It's great to see you, Shibani. Thanks for having me on. Hello, everybody. And as you described that, I feel exhausted just listening to all the things going on in the world, the things that we, our clients, our people are having to deal with. But I think you're right. There's a lot also to be positive about in the world today.
Yes, indeed. And interesting times, Mark. How have you been? First of all, let me start this conversation by asking you that. And how has WPP been through these course of events and, through all of these ups and downs?
In a funny way, look, there've been their challenges, and as a company we face them. Certainly our people have, and we all have. But actually, I think that WPP in many ways has come out of the pandemic and the crisis in a stronger position. I think clients value what we do perhaps more than they did before. I think that many of the things we've had to deal with have brought the company together in a way. I mean, we've had honestly a terrible time in India with COVID, as I know that the country did overall. But the way that our people, that Srini, our country manager, led the business, and the way our people responded and helped each other, I think has been extremely powerful. I think clients, the digital transition, that's something that we've been dealing with, let's be honest, for the last 20 plus years, but really accelerated during COVID. So we also took the opportunity to make a lot of business decisions and difficult business decisions. So we've come out of it stronger. I think the challenge has been we didn't expect to come out of COVID and come into, inflation, the Russia-Ukraine war, invasion. But, you have to take the world as it is, really, don't you, Shibani, and do what you can.
Yes, absolutely. And I wanted to ask you, actually, what are the key concerns raised by, some of your agency leaders? Because we are going through wars, recessionary headwinds. How is all of this impacting the business? And what are the concerns raised by the agency heads within the WPP ecosystem?
Look, our agency leaders, and I know you interviewed Devika recently, they're focused on doing a great job for their clients, delivering fantastic creative work, helping them, grow their businesses, sell on e-commerce, build relationship with customers, manage their reputation, communicate what they're doing. I think leading their people through difficult times. So, look, I don't think there's any particular concerns our leaders have. They're doing a great job. And it demonstrates the importance of what we do as an industry for our clients, I think.
And what are the client concerns? How are they reacting to these uncertain times, Mark?
I talk to clients a lot, as you can imagine, about their plans for next year. And look, I think the key word is uncertainty. We had our results a couple of weeks ago, and I said on our earnings call, look, I think there are very few clients, I think, that are sort of catastrophizing the situation for next year. I think most clients are looking to support their brands. I think a lot of clients are dealing in an inflationary environment where they're trying to support, price increases. And so marketing becomes, more important than that. They're looking to innovate, to be on the side of consumers. So they have to communicate with their customers. At the same time, they face headwinds around the world. So I think that uncertainty is the name of the game, if you like, and we have to be agile as an organization and help our clients react, and we have to react to things as they unfold. Opinions on a US recession differ. Goldman Sachs have it at 35% chance for recession in the US. Most other people have it more like 75%. So I've slightly sort of given up trying to predict the future, focused my efforts on, well, how do we respond more quickly, to be honest?
Yeah, but I do have a predictive question for you towards the end of the conversation. But let me first ask you,
clients... who's going to win the World Cup, I hope?
No, beyond that, of course, and that is also a question on top of all of the football fans' mind. But Mark, my question to you is, the clients might be saying something but behaving differently. And are there any changes that you see in their behavior about, let's say, even media spends or advertising spends, or when it comes to hiring? Are you observing any changes over there?
Look, I think one of the interesting things has been this sort of analog digital split. There's no doubt that COVID accelerated the transition to more digital marketing. But actually, as you've seen this year, the growth has been a little bit slower in digital media. I mean, the irony is that WPP and our sort of holding company or agency peers actually grew more quickly in the first 6 months of the year than the average Google, Meta, Snap, and Twitter. Now, if you said to me 5 years ago, we would grow our top line faster than those companies, I wouldn't have believed you. Now, look, no doubt they're coming off a very strong base of growth, but I think it demonstrates the value of what we do, the resilience of our business model, the fact that we tend to work with larger companies, and they tend to have, they work with large companies, but they have this whole long base of small and medium-sized businesses and micro entrepreneurs and all of that. A lot of VC funded startup money's been going into marketing on crypto, and we've seen, haven't we recently, some of the risks involved in that. So I think that I wouldn't say there's money being pushed back to traditional media, but I certainly think that like everything in life, it's a balance. And just as our consumers live in a world where they consume digital media and traditional media, that's where our clients are looking to spend. Now, you talked about hiring. Look, I think clients are still looking to support their brands. I don't think a lot of clients are looking to add fixed cost, to be honest. You see in the platforms, actually people taking a lot of fixed cost out of businesses that are perhaps, overinvested in headcount over the last 2 to 3 years.
All four advertising holding companies have raised their forecast for, the coming months. So are you suggesting that these holding companies are unscathed out of, this digital market troubles?
No, I wouldn't say that. I don't think we're unscathed. I think the reality is that WPP isn't just an advertising company anymore. And I think that's what people need to understand. We're helping clients through public relations, public affairs to manage their reputation. We're helping clients, build mobile applications. We're helping them develop e-commerce sites. We're helping them answer questions like, how do I sell through Amazon? So lots of things that aren't just related to advertising on its own. So I think it reflects the breadth of our business, the resilience of our business model. And I think a little bit, as you say, the balance that we have by client, by geography, and across all media as well.
Okay. And what's the scene on the new business front? Are pitches happening as they used to prior to the pandemic? Do we expect more pitches in 2023, the large scale ones?
Well, look, I mean, we took part in the Coke pitch. I think probably the biggest review in our industry's history. I think we did close to 150 meetings, all of them remotely, all of them on video. So my observation would be first, the new business pipeline we have now is as strong as it was a year ago. If anything, just marginally stronger. Pitches are going back in person. So I'm a little bit disappointed by that. I liked the fact that we were working and pitching remotely. It saves a lot of money in airfares and was good for the planet as well. And I was talking to a colleague who's over on the west coast of America, and quite a few people have flown in for that meeting. So I'd like us to make sure we continue to use the sort of hybrid model of pitching as well. I think that's the way forward for our industry. But no, pitching is busy. The Coke pitch, I think they said they started maybe with 6,000 agencies. So there are big pitches underway. They may not all be public, but I think it's going to be a busy end to the year, and I think a busy 2023.
Yeah, and Mark, as the interest rates keep rising faster than expected, are you concerned or worried about the weeks to come?
Yeah, I mean, look, that is my concern. I mean, my concern is I was just about old enough to remember the 1970s. Inflation is a tough beast to wrestle with. And typically, interest rates need to go up further than people expect to get it under control. So I think that is the challenge that we're going to face: is how high will rates have to go up? And there are countervailing forces. In the US, you saw inflation coming just under expectations. All of a sudden, the stock market's up 5%. Everyone thinks the problem is solved, and then you get more pressure on inflation because people think they can put price. So it's a tough thing, I think, for policymakers to wrestle with. So I think we're cautious about the trajectory of interest rates, and I think that's going to be the thing we're going to have to watch over the next year.
Yeah, and how is this entire situation over the past few months that has unfolded in the UK, whether it is, financial or political instability, impacted WPP, which is headquartered there?
Yeah, look, we're a global company that's proud to have our head office in London, is the way I think about it. So, look, the instability hasn't really affected us. It doesn't make me feel particularly proud of our political system. But I feel that now we have a new prime minister of Indian origins, which is fantastic. I think he's getting to grips with the challenges ahead. And that the fiscal plan is going to be laid out over the next couple of days. I think will be conservative, and I think it's going to require quite a lot of pain, unfortunately, across quite a large parts of society, all across society. They've said everyone should expect tax increases, but I do think that we'll get to a more stable situation, and then from that we can then build back.
Okay, so from Prime Minister of Indian origin to the India market, can you give some insights on the India market? I believe it's one of your top 5 markets for WPP. So what excites you about the India market, Mark?
Well, look, I mean, firstly, I love India, and actually, our last meeting as an executive team before the pandemic was in Mumbai, and I'm looking forward to coming back next year. I might even come on a family vacation as well. I think that we have 11,500 people in the market. We have a great position in the market. In Shrini, we have a really strong leader for our business, but we have strong people across our businesses, fantastic creative leaders like Piyush, and the work we do for clients is so impactful. I mean, I could go through the reasons to be proud. I mean, recently our foundation in India, and I visited it, one of the schools it funds. The last time I was there, it was awarded an award, the best CSR foundation in the country. We're all tremendously proud of that. We're tremendously proud of the work that we do for our clients. The work we did for Mondelez in India won a titanium award in Cannes. So that's one of the most prestigious awards in our industry, a collaboration between Ogilvy and Wavemaker. It really shows. And what was interesting is it was an application of AI, to marketing. So we're showing how the combination of creativity and data and technology can produce fantastic ideas that can win on a world stage. Our business, interestingly, is 80% domestic. So many foreign companies that operate in India are serving a multinational world. We're not. We're serving multinational companies in India and many, many, many domestic companies in India, and that's fantastic as well. Look, I've learned a lot from many of the Indian business leaders. I've been lucky to meet Sanjeev Mehta for several occasions when I've been in the market, and he's been a fantastic client to us. And I think there's a tremendous amount we can learn from him and Indian business leaders as well. So, look, I think the economic outlook for India is strong. It's probably been our best. It's been our best performing market globally for the last 10 years, and I think it's now our 5th or 6th biggest market in WPP. And if you said to me one day will it overtake the UK, it wouldn't surprise me.
Let's hope that happens. It is time for a short break. My conversation with Mark Read continues. We have a lot more to discuss. You don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back. We are in conversation with Mark Read, Chief Executive Officer of WPP, and speaking to him about many things, from the outlook for the coming months to the impact of the big tech facing troubles on the advertising business. India is one of the market where you have your campuses. We have a WPP campus right here in Mumbai, and you have been opening campuses all over the world. The most recent one, I believe, was in South America. Correct me if I'm wrong. Can you tell us what is the strategy there, and what is what is the aim behind opening these campuses in different cities all over the world?
Well, look, I mean, some people might think we're mad opening offices at a time when people seem more reluctant to come into offices than most CEOs would like. But I think what we're trying to do is really create a place where we can attract the best talent, and where our clients can see the best talent, where that talent could work together and collaborate. So we have fantastic campuses in Mumbai and Gurgaon. They're really bringing 3,000 or 4,000 people together in a building, and sometimes we call it a temple to creativity. A place where people can come and be inspired and collaborate and do their best work. And I think that's what we have to do. Those are the type of workplaces we have to provide if we want people to spend more time in the office, which absolutely I think is valuable for collaboration, for the quality of the work, to train and develop our people, and quite frankly, for people's mental health as well.
All right. Coming back to the tech troubles and the troubles that tech giants are going through, what is the kind of impact of all of this that you expect on the advertising business in the coming days?
Well, look, I think that you've got to sort of put it a little bit in perspective. I mean, their troubles are really, a slowdown in revenue growth, which is inevitable. They've become so big, they can't outgrow the market, matched with probably a little bit sort of over enthusiastic hiring over the last, 1 to 2 years. So, it's not good or sad for the people that have been impacted. But I think that the platforms remain increasingly powerful. And actually, a lot of what you're seeing is the result of more innovation and more competition in the market. What the impact of TikTok has been to take share away from some of the other platforms. The growth of Amazon has done the same thing. So I think net, it's good for our clients to have more competition, to have more options, to have different ways to reach the consumer. A lot of these innovations like TikTok, and I know there's issues with TikTok or more than issues within it in India, but it's a very popular platform around the world with young people. Giving clients new and different ways to reach customers, and it's good for WPP and good for our agencies, because more complexity makes what we do more valuable to our clients.
Yes, and do you also think that it's time for these tech giants to reevaluate their business model as well?
Look, I'm not going to tell them how to run their business. They've got enough smart people there to know what to do. I would say that what Netflix is an interesting situation, isn't it? Though, where for many years it was very subscription focused. I wouldn't say they were anti-advertising, but they certainly didn't embrace it. And now they've realized, they've got a fantastic business with 250 million consumers, but to reach the next 250 or to reach the next billion, they need to have an advertiser supported model. So they're leaning into advertising. I think it was back in 2009 when Jeff Bezos said advertising is something that businesses do that don't have a differentiated product. Well, now Amazon is one of the world's largest advertisers. So I think that there is a role for advertising to fund content, to fund these services. It's important. And I think it will. Many of our clients are very excited about the Netflix opportunity. All of our clients are excited about it. The chance to reach consumers alongside such fantastic content is something that they want. So I think it does point to a more vibrant future for our industry, and that again is positive.
Can you tell us, because of these layoffs, what is the kind of impact that the other sectors and the advertising business will have in the coming months? Is it also an opportunity for advertising to get back its talent, which is trained with these tech companies?
Well, look, I think we've got great talent inside our agencies, particularly in India. But yeah, I'm sure hopefully there's great people that work for tech companies, and if they want to come back or come to work at WPP, then just drop us your CV or resume. We'll have a conversation. I mean, I think there is a little bit there was a little bit the grass is greener on the other side, and so I think that it's sort of good to have a bit more rebalancing, if not unfortunate for the people involved. But I think that as an industry, we can provide great careers for people to work in a creative industry, to work with some of the world's largest and biggest brands, and really have an impact, but also to do something positive for society. As the foundation that we have in India, and we have many similar initiatives going on around the world as well.
Yeah. And do you see its impact on the other sectors?
Yeah, it's a strange thing, isn't it? What the economic situation we've got ourselves into is kind of a labor shortage, actually, in many parts of the world that has exacerbated inflation and forced central banks to kind of raise interest rates to sort of stem demand. So I think that there's every chance of what I call a kind of a softish landing. We'll get inflation down without, hopefully, a massive spike in unemployment as things become more aligned. So I think that we're cautious on hiring, and many companies say are cautious on hiring. But I hope we can sort of navigate the next 12 months without having to take massive layoffs across the organization.
So you're cautious on hiring, but there is no freeze at WPP when it comes to hiring, is it?
I'd say we're strongly cautious on hiring. I mean, we have clients to serve. There's, as I said, many talented people out there. So there's never a situation where we're not hiring people. But I want to be in a situation where when we take somebody on, we're confident that we can keep and train and develop them. So I don't want to see ups and downs in that sense in our hiring.
Yes, and now it's time for the million-dollar question. I'm not going to ask you your predictions for 2023, but I will ask you your expectations from the year 2023.
So look, I think that it's going to be a challenging start, but a year that will get better as it goes on. That would be my prediction.
Challenging start to the year. And what are your clients saying about the year? What are their expectations?
Well, as I said earlier, I think that clients are cautious, but they've come to understand the value of what we do, the value of marketing, the value of continuing to communicate to their customers, of not going dark. So I think that I would describe them as it's a gradual process. I think they're going to sort of trim their sails as they go through the year. When COVID happened, we had clients, cut back their marketing by 20, 50, in some cases 100%. That's not what we're seeing at the moment. We're just seeing, I think, some caution. But while consumer demand remains strong, clients will continue to spend. And look, I'm talking to an audience in India. When I talk to our team in India, they're very optimistic about 2023. I mean, we have to remember, WPP is a global company, and we have fantastic business in India, across Asia, in markets like Brazil. These are not suffering from the stresses and strains that we have here in Western Europe. So when I talk to Srini and the team in India, they're very positive about the outlook for the market. Maybe it'll be a little bit softer than 2022. I think that's probably fair. But I still think that it will be double-digit growth, and by anyone's standard, that's a pretty good result.
Let's hope for that. Thank you so much, Mark. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Shibani. Thanks, everybody.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.